Chosen one, what I am about to share with you has the power to completely transform your life. If you are here right now, know that this is not by chance. God brought you to this message because there is something He wants you to know. This is a divine message of transformation, and from this moment forward, your struggle will no longer be yours alone. Your financial hardships are about to come to an end because God Himself is taking control of your prosperity and abundance. The wealth you have been praying for is on its way, and those who once doubted or mocked you will bear witness to what God is doing in your life. This is your time, the beginning of a new season. Nothing will be able to stop the blessings that are already moving towards you. Before we dive into this powerful revelation, I ask you to do 3 things. Like this message, share it with those who need to hear it, and keep your faith strong. If you are truly chosen, you will stay with me until the end, because your soul already recognizes that this truth was made for you. Prepare yourself, because your life is about to change in ways you cannot yet imagine. In every journey, there comes a point where the struggle ends and the blessings begin. For God's chosen ones, the responsibility for wealth no longer rests in your hands. It belongs to Him. The Creator, who planned every detail of your existence, has promised you an endless flow of abundance. This is not just a dream or a hope, but a sacred and unchanging promise. Your prosperity does not depend on your effort or hard work, but on God's unwavering faithfulness. Imagine a river that never runs dry, no matter how much you draw from it. This is the essence of the divine provision He has prepared for you. As one of the chosen, you were never meant to live a life of lack, but to dwell in the fullness of His promises. Your abundance is a reflection of God's eternal commitment to those He has called. The time has come to abandon the struggle and fully trust in this divine covenant. When God takes on the responsibility of providing, there is no longer any reason for anxiety. Your needs have already been met before you were even aware of them. You are no longer at the mercy of the uncertainties of the world, but now you walk with the assurance of His supernatural provision. Your wealth is not just material, it is a living testimony of God's love for you. When you embrace this truth, you will feel a peace that surpasses all human understanding. This peace is not just in what you will have, but in the security of knowing that your future is in His hands. True trust does not come from self-sufficiency, but from the certainty that you are sustained by an infinitely greater power. When you place your faith in divine provision, you walk through life with unshakable confidence, knowing that everything you need will be provided at the right time. Doubts about the future vanish, and in their place arises confidence in God's goodness and His unfailing commitment to His promises. Think of the trust of a child who knows their parents will always care for them. That child doesn't worry about where their next meal will come from or if they will have a roof over their head. This is the kind of trust God is asking you to embrace as you step into the abundance He has prepared for you. This assurance will fill your heart, bringing lightness, peace, and making every step easier. To trust in divine provision is to live without anxiety or doubt. It is to believe that God's timing and methods are perfect, even when the path ahead seems uncertain. When you understand that He is the provider, you can release the heavy burden of trying to control every outcome. This is not giving up. It is an active and courageous faith that allows God to perform miracles in your life as you move forward in obedience. From now on, you no longer need to work endlessly just to get by. The responsibility for your prosperity is in God's hands. Your only task is to align yourself with His divine will and trust in His perfect timing. When you let go of the burden of trying to control everything, you create space for heaven to pour abundance into your life. God is the creator of the universe, the one who spoke and brought the stars into existence. If He is capable of such magnificent works, surely He can provide for every single one of your needs. There are no limits to what God can do, and that includes the resources you need to live fully in the purpose He has placed in your life. When you embrace this truth, you begin to notice how everything aligns perfectly to provide what you need at exactly the right moment. Knowing that God is responsible for your prosperity frees you from the pressure of solving everything on your own. Instead of worrying, you can focus on fulfilling the purpose you were called to. Your role is to trust, act in faith, and allow God to do the impossible. When God takes control of your prosperity, He doesn't just provide the basics, but gives more than enough for you to live in abundance and make a lasting impact. It's time to let go of any doubts about your financial future. God does not fail, and His promises are guaranteed. If He promised abundance, He will fulfill it. Your dreams are not too big for God, and your goals are not out of reach. What seems impossible to human eyes is already accomplished in the spiritual realm. There is no room for doubt because God's plan for your life includes wealth and abundance that will exceed even your greatest expectations. Many people believe that wealth is reserved for a select few or that they are unworthy of great blessings, but you are not many people. You were chosen. Your greatness was ordained by God, and the wealth He has prepared for you is not just for your personal benefit. It exists to empower you to fulfill your purpose on earth. Whether it's to help others, support meaningful causes, or build something that will transform the world, God will ensure that you have the resources you need. When you remove doubt from your mind and make room for faith, miracles begin to unfold. The more your thoughts align with God's promises, the more those promises will manifest in your life. You were not created to live in lack or constant struggle. God's plan for you includes abundance in every area: financial, emotional, spiritual. And that abundance will come in ways you never imagined possible. Now is the time to release doubt and embrace the certainty that God is about to do something extraordinary in your life. Prepare yourself, because the impossible is about to become reality. God's plan includes a wealth that will not only meet your needs, but allow you to reach the grandest dreams you've ever had. Let go of fear and trust. God's abundance has no limits, and you were chosen to experience it fully. There is transformative power in knowing that God is your provider. This understanding brings unshakable peace, a security that cannot be disrupted, and a confidence that no challenge in this world can steal. When you are certain that your needs will be met, you can live with freedom and joy, unbound by fear or worry. This knowledge completely changes the way you live, allowing you to move forward boldly, assured that divine provision is always within your reach. This trust is not an empty hope, but a faith rooted in God's promises and His faithfulness. Remember all the times He has already sustained you, every miracle you've witnessed, every door that opened, every prayer that was answered. Those moments were not coincidences. They were the divine hand at work, showing you that He will always provide. The more you meditate on this truth, the more it becomes the solid foundation upon which you build your life. When you understand that God is the source of your provision, you move forward without fear of the unknown, without clinging to the uncertainties of the future. The Creator of the universe has already paved your way and prepared everything for you to prosper, regardless of the circumstances. With this assurance, no challenge will be too great for you. God's provision will always be present, guiding and sustaining every step you take. Inevitably, as you begin to step into divine abundance, there will be those who question or mock your success. But let me be clear, those opinions have no power over you. What God has declared over your life does not depend on anyone's approval. Your abundance is a living testimony of God's faithfulness, and no one can take that from you. When God decides to bless you, no opposing word can stand against it. While it's easy to feel discouraged in the face of criticism or doubt from others, remember, your prosperity doesn't come from people but from God. He is the author of your future, and His promises stand above any human judgment. Every blessing you receive is a reflection of God's love and divine favor. So even when doubts arise, rise above them. Focus on God's promises and remember that He is using you as a living demonstration of His goodness and power. Your abundance is not just a personal gift, it is a testimony to the world of God's greatness. As you remain steadfast in God's promises, you'll find that your prosperity will speak for itself. Criticism and doubt will fade in the face of the impact your life will have. God's plan for you is not something fleeting. It is an eternal wealth that will echo through generations. This divine abundance is not something you need to chase. It flows naturally as you live in alignment with God's will. The effort God asks of you isn't to struggle or exhaust yourself, but to trust and obey. When you do this, the riches come to you effortlessly. The world teaches that success comes from relentless work and sacrifice, but God's plan is different. He desires for you to rest in His provision and trust in the increase He will bring in His perfect timing. When you live in harmony with God's divine purpose, your life overflows with blessings. You receive everything He promised without wearing yourself out in the process. This divine provision is true freedom. Freedom from living in fear of lack, freedom from worrying about tomorrow. Because you know God is already there, taking care of everything. Your life becomes a reflection of God's divine plan for eternal prosperity. A wealth that is not confined to material riches, but transcends, touching every area of your being. This is God's fullness for you, and now is the time to embrace it without reservation. The abundance God pours into your life is not just for your benefit. It is a powerful tool to fulfill the purpose He has designed for you. Whether it's to transform lives, support meaningful causes, or create something that will impact the world, God will ensure you have the resources you need. The more you align your thoughts and actions with His purpose, the more you will see His promises manifest. Release the worry, embrace the trust, and allow God to reveal His best in your life. The wealth He has reserved for you is far more than financial. It is the expression of divine fullness flowing into every area of your existence. As you step into the abundance God has promised, remember that with great blessings comes great responsibility. But this responsibility is not a burden. It is a privilege given to you to impact lives, transform realities, and build a legacy that will transcend generations. Your wealth is not just for your personal benefit, but to expand God's kingdom and allow others to experience the same blessings you have received. True divine prosperity goes far beyond material possessions. It has the power to restore families, transform communities, and spread God's love in profound and lasting ways. It's not about what you can acquire, but about the lives you can touch and the positive change you can bring to the world. That is the true purpose of divine wealth. When you embrace this responsibility, your wealth gains a higher purpose. Along this journey, you will discover a genuine fulfillment that surpasses any material riches. The more you give, the more you receive. This is the principle of divine abundance. What you sow, you reap. As you use your resources to bless others and fulfill God's plans, you will see blessings flow even more abundantly into your life. You were chosen to live a life of impact, and as you use your prosperity to fulfill a greater purpose, you will experience a joy that comes only from making a lasting difference. Every blessing in your life is a tangible testament to God's faithfulness. His promises are neither empty nor fleeting. They are solid, constant, and unchanging. Stepping into God's abundance is not just about what you gain, but about what you understand. It's about recognizing how loyal and loving He is. Every blessing reflects God's steadfast character and His commitment to seeing you thrive. Your wealth is no accident. It is a gift He has prepared to show how much He cares for every detail of your life. Think back to the times when God has acted miraculously in your journey. Perhaps it was an unexpected solution in the middle of a challenge, or the small daily blessings that reminded you He was always by your side. Divine wealth is not only found in grand victories, but in the constant provision that proves God's faithfulness day after day. When you realize that the abundance you experience is not merely the result of your own efforts, but a gift directly from God, everything changes. You stop striving and start receiving. You stop relying on your own strength and begin living in grace. Every resource and every blessing is proof that God is faithful to His word. And because He is faithful, you can trust that the wealth He has poured into your life will continue to flow today and forever. Over time, some people may doubt or even criticize your blessings. But remember, no one can touch what God has blessed. No criticism or judgment can stop the divine prosperity that is flowing in your life. When God decides to favor you, nothing can disrupt His plan. The beauty of divine abundance is that it's not about proving anything to anyone. It's about fulfilling the purpose God designed for you. Your wealth and success will be living testimonies of God's goodness. Those who once doubted or mocked will witness what He has done in your life. They will understand that it's not about your strength or abilities, but about God's favor resting upon you. As you live out the fullness of your abundance, your success will become a reflection of God's goodness and transformative power. Even the harshest critics will be silenced by the undeniable evidence of what He has done for you. Remember, those who criticize often do so from their own insecurities or limitations, but their opinions hold no power over your reality. Only God's word defines your truth. So stand firm, Walk confidently in the promises God has made to you, without letting the negativity of others distract you. When you fully embrace God's blessings, you will see that criticism loses its strength, and what remains is the undeniable proof of divine favor in your life. The whole world will see that God's plan for you is greater than anything they could have imagined. Living in the fullness of God's provision is to experience life in its most authentic form, filled with abundance, peace, and freedom. It's not just about fleeting moments of happiness, but about a deep state of trust and fulfillment. You are no longer merely surviving. You are thriving. Every aspect of your life, your finances, your relationships, your health, your dreams, is touched by God's generous hand. His presence is in everything. This fullness doesn't happen overnight. It is a journey that requires continuous growth in faith and dependence on Him. As you move forward, you will see more and more signs of God's care in your life. Unexpected miracles, doors that open effortlessly, and opportunities that once seemed impossible. These blessings are not coincidences. They are the manifestation of God's faithful plan for you, a life of fullness and purpose. True fullness doesn't mean having everything you want, but knowing that God will always provide everything you need and more. When you live in the assurance of this provision, the fear of lack disappears. Each day begins with a grateful heart, knowing that the Creator is by your side, sustaining you in ways that go far beyond your understanding. This is the life God has planned for you, a life of peace, joy, and abundance. Living in divine wealth doesn't mean taking uncertain leaps into the unknown, but walking with confidence, assured that God is present in every step. Having this divine certainty means knowing that everything you need to thrive is already in motion. You no longer need to question whether you are on the right path or if everything will work out. You can move forward boldly, knowing that God has already gone ahead of you, preparing the way. This divine confidence gives you the courage to make bold decisions and embrace new opportunities. Whether it's starting a project, making an investment, or stepping into a new phase, you can proceed without fear because you are aligned with God's will. God is not only with you, but also opening the path to your success. His plans are already unfolding, and now it's time for you to step into that flow. When you walk in faithfulness, wealth is not something you have to chase. It follows you naturally as a consequence of God's favor in your life. As you move forward, trusting in His plan, you will begin to notice how everything around you starts to align perfectly, almost effortlessly. Every opportunity, every resource, every blessing that enters your life is evidence of God's commitment to fulfilling His promises. Your wealth becomes a powerful testimony to His faithfulness, showing the world that His words are true and never return void. Your life becomes a living proof of God's care. You are no longer living just for yourself, but as a testimony for others. People will see your journey and recognize that God is real and faithful. Your story will inspire others to trust in Him, believing that they too can experience the same divine provision. But the impact of your life doesn't stop here. Your success isn't just for the present. It will shape the future of your family and your community. The wealth God has entrusted to you will have a lasting impact, reflecting His goodness and care. Your legacy will be marked by faithfulness, abundance, and the undeniable truth that God is the ultimate provider who always keeps His promises. You were chosen for something greater, and the greatness God grants you is not something you achieve through effort. It is His gift to you, so that your life may become a source of light, hope, and transformation for the world. All the struggles, challenges, and setbacks you faced are now in the past. This is the moment to let go of any thoughts or memories that are still holding you back. Your past does not define who you are. God's purpose for your life is what truly matters. The journey to greatness is never without difficulty, but it is always accompanied by God's constant presence and help. When you release the weight of your struggles, you create space for God's complete blessings to flow freely into your life. Every battle you faced has shaped your story, but your future is built on victories. This is the time to embrace the greatness that God has already destined for you. Accept your divine calling and step into the fullness God has prepared. You are no longer bound by the mistakes or limitations of the past. Now, you can walk boldly toward a future filled with purpose, prosperity, and a life that reflects God's glory. This is your moment to rise, and nothing can stop what God is doing in your life. Divine wealth is not something fleeting. It is an eternal promise, a continuous flow that knows no limits. When you embrace this promise, a new level of abundance is unlocked. God's provision for your life is not confined by human restrictions. It is infinite and overflows into every area. Whether financial, emotional, or spiritual, God has promised to meet all your needs and more. Imagine the vastness of an ocean that never dries up. That is the power of divine provision. It is an invaluable resource, an inexhaustible source that is always available to you. Relying on this divine promise allows you to see that there are no limits to your success. The blessings you receive today are only the beginning of what God has in store for you. Each day brings new opportunities for His abundance to manifest in unexpected but deeply intentional ways. Living in divine wealth means you are not bound by the systems of lack in this world. While the world operates in fear of loss, God's kingdom operates on the principle of overflow. This is your inheritance as a child of God, and it was not made just for you but to impact everyone around you. Your prosperity has a greater purpose. It exists to touch your community, bless your family, and transform lives. Divine wealth is not just about material resources, but about a fullness of life where all your needs, emotional, spiritual, and physical, are met. This abundance not only transforms your reality, but also reveals the infinite potential God has placed within you. When you accept this truth, you open the door for overflow to begin. What once seemed impossible becomes your new reality. God's provision goes beyond meeting your basic needs. It exists to empower you to live a life of extraordinary purpose. Too often, we limit ourselves by what we think is possible or deserved. But when we surrender these limitations to God, we discover a realm of blessings that surpasses imagination. God doesn't want you to have just enough to survive. He wants to bless you abundantly so that you can be a channel of blessings to others. His provision is designed to propel you toward the destiny He has prepared, something far greater than you could ever plan on your own. The more you trust Him, the more you will see doors open and opportunities arise in ways that exceed your expectations. God is a God of abundance, and His blessings always surpass what we think is possible. He will take you beyond what you imagined, revealing His favor in every area of your life. The true glory of God's provision is experienced when we stop striving and choose to trust. When we surrender our plans to Him, we discover that His ways are infinitely better than anything we could imagine. It's a journey of divine surprises, constant joy, and blessings that deepen our faith in His goodness. Step into a new season where what you have waited for so long begins to flow naturally and supernaturally. This is not a season of lack, but of overflow. When you align yourself with God's plan, you will begin to witness a stream of blessings that not only meet your needs, but elevate you to a new level of abundance. God is moving in your favor, orchestrating situations, opening doors, and pouring out blessings in ways only He can. This supernatural flow is not limited to finances. It encompasses your relationships, your health, your purpose, and every area of your life. When you walk in faithfulness and trust, God's hand remains upon you, bringing favor that completely transforms your journey. The flow of divine abundance begins with a simple transformation in your mindset. When you recognize that abundance is your inheritance, something changes within you. You start walking with the certainty that God has already prepared every blessing for your life. Think of rivers flowing, bringing life and renewal wherever they go. That is how God's blessings work. A constant flow that touches every area of your life, transforming everything in its path. When you open your heart to receive, you'll realize that these blessings are not meant just for you. They overflow to touch other lives. You become a channel of God's goodness, and your story becomes a living testimony of divine grace. Embrace this new season, knowing that you don't need to struggle for blessings. They flow naturally as a result of God's favor on your life. Walk in obedience and trust, and this supernatural flow will carry you to places you never thought possible. This is your season of divine provision, and it is about to transform every aspect of your life. The journey to divine wealth is filled with unseen doors that God is about to open for you. At first, these opportunities may seem hidden, but when you walk in alignment with God's will, He reveals each one at the perfect time. The path to prosperity isn't always clear from the beginning, but as you trust in God, He will guide you to the doors that will change your life forever. These opportunities, which may seem impossible by human standards, are not coincidences. They are part of God's divine plan. It could be an unexpected job offer, a connection you didn't foresee, or a project that suddenly comes to life. All of it is divinely orchestrated. Remember the story of Joseph, who endured countless trials before God opened the doors that elevated him to greatness in Egypt. Like Joseph, the doors in your life may be preceded by challenges, but every difficult moment is preparing you for what's to come. If you remain faithful, God will open those doors at the right time, leading you to a future of wealth, purpose, and success. God is constantly working behind the scenes, moving the pieces of the puzzle of your life. His plan is far greater than anything you can imagine. But true wealth isn't just about accumulation or status. It's about using God's blessings to make a lasting impact in the world. The prosperity God has for you isn't just for your personal benefit. It's a powerful tool to transform lives, expand His kingdom, and fulfill the greater purpose for which you were created. Your blessings are divine opportunities to make a difference, whether by helping someone in need, supporting meaningful causes, or investing in projects that glorify God. The more you use your blessings to bless others, the more God multiplies what you have. He honors those who live to serve. That is the beauty of divine wealth. It never runs out. On the contrary, it grows as you share it, creating an impact beyond what you could imagine. True divine wealth is much more than material possessions. It brings fulfillment, peace, and a deep sense of purpose. When you understand that you are part of a much larger plan, your life takes on eternal meaning. Your blessings become seeds you plant in the lives of others, multiplying God's grace and leaving a legacy of transformation. This is wealth that transcends generations, impacting not only your life, but also your family, your community, and the world around you. When you invest in people and in God's purposes, He responds by multiplying your blessings in supernatural ways. The more you give, the more you receive. And in this divine cycle, God's blessings become infinite. God's timing is perfect. You may be in a season of waiting, planting seeds, and building your faith, but know that the harvest time is coming. God is a God of seasons, and He knows exactly when to open the floodgates of heaven to pour out blessings upon you. When you align yourself with God's plan, everything changes. You will see the seeds you sowed in tears bloom into joy. This is your season of harvest, the season where God fulfills every promise He has made. Even in the moments when it seems like nothing is happening, God is working behind the scenes. And when He moves, the blessings come like a rushing river, completely transforming your life. Trust His timing. Stay steadfast in your faith. What God has in store for you goes beyond anything you can imagine. His blessings will not only change your life, but also transform the world around you. This is the power of divine favor, abundance without limits, and provision that never runs dry.